Hi, my name is Eva Steiner and this is my project Psychotherapists Around the Globe. I am interviewing the psychotherapists around the world and asking them the same 8 questions. I am wondering how mental health profession is in their country. Today we are going to... Thank you for doing this interview with me. Before we start, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
At first, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I'm really glad to be part of the project. I'm Sharmin Abidin, and I'm from Bangladesh. I'm working as a psychologist, and I have been in this profession for last 12 years.
So tell me a little bit about your culture. What is some holiday or tradition that your country celebrates? And if your culture would be an emotion, what emotion would it be?
I'm from Bangladesh, and this is in the Asia. Though Islam is our main the religion, but beside this we have the Hinduism, Christianity, and the Buddhism. And we do celebrate Eid, the Puja, and Merry Christmas according to our own religion. Okay, beside this, we celebrate 21st February as our national the language the day. We fought for our the language Bangla in 1952. And now we do celebrate this day, and it is worldwide. Maybe you will be heard about International Language Day. Besides this, we also celebrate 26th of the March as our the Independence Day and 16th December as our Victory Day. And we also have our the own the New Year, which is called the Bengali New Year. And on this day, we wear the sari with red and white in color, and the male wear Punjabi and the pajama. Lots of activities to celebrate on this day. To welcome this new year, we gather, we play, we dance, and I would like to say that we are very hospitable. When guests visit in our home, we feel very happy, and we cook lots of food. And our main food is rice and fish, and our national fish, Ilish, is very popular in this subcontinent.
So the emotion, you would say hospitality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how did you become a psychotherapist in your country, and what is your therapeutic approach?
Actually, in our other country, psychology is not that much familiar among the people, and so it was not easy for me to be a psychologist. When I was very young, at my childhood, I came to know about psychology, and I had a strong desire to be a psychologist. But when I told my parents that I want to be a psychologist, at first they didn't accept this because, according to them, the engineer or medical science are very prestigious at the job. And actually, in our other country, most of the parents have a dream to make their children engineer or a doctor. Anyway, I got a chance in Dhaka University, and I took psychology as my major of the subject. And then I completed my honors and masters in psychology. After completing that, I did some training on NLP, EMDR, CBT, and systemic family therapy to reach my knowledge, to develop my skill, and to be updated. And now I am working on systemic family therapy and couple therapy.
And in Bangladesh, in general, how do you become a psychotherapist? Do you need to study psychology and then you can go to psychotherapy? Or is there any other way someone can become a psychotherapist?
Yes, at first we'll have to complete the honors in psychology, and in the masters, who wants to be a clinical psychologist, he can take the clinical psychology, or others the psychology.
Is there any psychology law?
No, unfortunately not.
how society looks upon psychotherapy or any psychological help?
Unfortunately, in my society, we are not that much aware about the mental health. If we get sick, we go to doctor. But if there is any mental health issues, we don't know what to do or where to go. Even there are some stigma that counseling is only for the people who are crazy. Counseling is only for the psychotic patients, not for the neurotic patients. And also in our culture, male usually they don't express their sorrows because they have a fear that if they share their sadness or weakness to others, they may mock them. And also in our culture, it is said that boys are not allowed to cry because if they cry, it will show their weakness.
And you mentioned that you wanted to become a psychologist since very young, since childhood. So how did you find out about this profession?
When I was a student of standard 9 and 10, I had a subject of psychology, and it was very interesting to me. From that, I had a passion about psychology.
And your parents, when did they accept that you are a psychologist?
When I got a chance in Dhaka University, and you know that Dhaka University is a very top the university in the Bangladesh, and I convinced my parents that no, I don't want to be engineer or doctor. At that time, they didn't say anything. They allowed me to study in this subject.
What is your society teaching about child-parent relationship, and whether these values of society also influence how you design your interventions as a therapist?
Actually, in our society, child and parent relationship is not that much friendly. When I was a child, my parents took all the decision, and we had to listen to them. But now the situation is changing gradually. Now parents try to listen to the children, but we also heard from the children that sometimes they say that our parents don't understand me. And same thing we heard from the parents. They say that the children cannot understand us. But I think that parents can understand that how to behave our children in the different ages, how to listen to them, how to communicate with them, and how to help them to take a decision. There is a generation gap. That's why sometimes the children doesn't want to expose themselves to the parents. Sometimes they do something without informing the parents, and they get trapped dangerously. Like they become involved with some illegal groups who are doing harm in the society. Sometimes they are taking drugs, or they becoming aggressive. So these kind of difficulties we can see nowadays among the adolescent group.
And if an adult client would come to you and say, I don't want to see my parents anymore, how would you react as a therapist, and how society views that?
Sometimes parents they come to us and with lots of complaint about their children, and sometimes they try to convince us, and they say that when we'll bring our children to you, and you will say us that what they are trying to say. But actually these are not the therapeutic relationship, because we can disclose everything about our client to all of. We have to take some consent from our the client. In this type of situation, we had to clarify to the parents that we are sorry, we can say everything without taking the consent of our client. That's why I think that systemic family therapy is very important in our society, because in the family therapy, parents and children all remain present.
What are the learned beliefs regarding client-therapist relationship, and can the relationship continue outside the therapy once the therapy process is over?
Before starting the therapy, we always discuss with the clients about the therapeutic relationship, timing, confidentiality, etc. And when the therapy goes on, we therapists are very aware about the relationship with the clients. We give them our phone number or WhatsApp number. If they face any challenges, they can text us, and if it is the emergency, we just call back to the client. And about using the social media, we are very aware. We usually don't share our social media ID with the clients. But after the finishing the therapy, actually, no, we don't get that much close with the client, because the following session still goes continue.
And in case, let's say that you have a client that calls you a lot after the sessions, like, is that okay? Or you need to set the boundaries here, like what are the rules here?
Of course, we set some boundaries, because you know that when from the beginning we do the session every week, and we reduce the session gradually, because we try to make the client independent. And if the client call me every time, each and every time, it doesn't make the client the independent. If the client call us all the time, we try to make them understand that, please, sorry, don't call me all the time. If it is really, really urgent, please call me.
Is supervision a must for a therapist in your country?
The supervision is not mandatory in our country, but yes, we do take the supervision. Sometimes we do peer discussions, whether we are in the right track or not, or sometimes for some suggestions and for some recommendation, we discuss with the senior teacher of Dhaka University. But supervision is not mandatory, but we take this.
And what are the most common complaints that the client comes to therapy for?
We receive different types of problems. Most of them are relationship issues between parents and children, or the couple, or some anxiety, depression, PTSD, or sometimes the domestic violence, sexual violence, or substance abuse.
And in Bangladesh, how a client can get help? Through the public health system, or it's a private system?
In the both way, but usually they go to the Dhaka University counseling department, because they know that they have the service. And also in the public, because public is a bit cheaper than the private.
And university services are also through public system or are private?
It is public, but we also do some the private service. So actually, during the pandemic, this the counseling become very popular, because at that time all the people remain inside the home. There was not a job. They couldn't go outside the home. At that time, we faced lots of the mental health issues. And I would say that during that time, counseling become very popular, and we did the online sessions during the pandemic. But now we have started the physical sessions again.
If you would share one tool, belief, or approach that is a must-have for you as a therapist, what would that be?
Therapists should be non-judgmental. and the empathetic and the active the listener. Therapists are not the magician that they can solve all the issues within a second. And they will work just like a mirror. And when the client will see their the reflection into the therapist, they will try to fix their issues or try to change themselves by their own. So the therapist shouldn't give any advice to the client.